In the headlines, Barbados on high alert for measles after increased cases in source markets. Fire razes a building housing 2 businesses. And in sports, West Indies under-19s seal series victory against England under-19s.
The headline news is brought to you by National Transformation Initiative, shaping the Starbajan.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening to you on this Independence Holiday and World AIDS Day. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. A warning tonight that Barbados is on high alert for measles. It is coming from Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George, who is urging Barbadians to take all precautions to prevent the spread of measles. His comments come after the region of the Americas, including Barbados, which has no measles cases, lost its certification for being a measles-free area. The Chief Medical Officer says the decertification occurred because of the persistent transmission of measles in some provinces in Canada. He says health authorities have also taken note that there has been an increase in the incidence of measles in some of Barbados' key source markets for tourists. This includes South America, Latin America, the United States of America, and Canada. Dr. George says this is why it is critical for parents to ensure their children get their measles, mumps, and rubella, or MMR vaccine at 12 months and then again at 18 months.
It is not a situation of panic, but what it means is that we have to be careful because our MMR coverage is not that great. For MMR1, we are closer to 90%. For MMR2, we are just about 80%. It is recommended that 90% of the population be vaccinated, and that will make the transmission of measles very unlikely. So therefore, this is just another call to Barbadian parents to understand that the measles vaccine is extremely safe. It provides 98% coverage.
The Chief Medical Officer is also advising members of the public to report any unexplainable fever or rash to their primary care physicians. He also wants Barbadians to use protective measures against measles, including washing their hands regularly and covering their noses and mouths when sneezing.
Why we get concerned about measles is that while many persons may have mild to moderate symptoms, a few individuals may have pneumonia or encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain. And when those occur, the outcome may not be favorable.
As Barbados joins the world in observing World AIDS Day and International Day of Significance, Barbadians are being reminded that the disease is still prevalent in society. And Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey is calling on members of the public to protect themselves from the virus. He was addressing members of the media at the World AIDS Day Family Fun Day at Friendship Playing Field, Lower State, St. George.
HIV remains an important public health threat in Barbados. This is why Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey is calling on Barbadians to get tested.
I think that's very, very important that we encourage more testing in Barbados. I think as well that persons need to recognize that we offer treatment in Barbados and that persons who have been tested and may find themselves with HIV should make themselves available for treatment.
Minister Humphrey says this year's World AIDS Day theme, Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, is timely and important.
Because I think there have been a number of things that could have been said to get in the way of our HIV treatment, It is still a fact that persons who are poor are more vulnerable. Women, men who have sex with men, transgender, that category of persons tend to test higher for HIV. And of course, therefore, we want to reach out especially to ensure that persons in those categories come forward for treatment. But I think average Barbadians need to know that HIV is still with us.
But most importantly, he wants the average Barbadian to know HIV/AIDS is still prevalent in society.
And we've recently heard the Ministry of Health announce that STIs are in decrease. It is logical to conclude that HIV therefore would also be on the increase. So I want to encourage people to engage, if they are engaging in sexual conduct, to engage in sexual conduct that would not deprive them of life in the long run.
And there is also a message for young people.
There's no need to rush into anything. We know what's happening out there, and if you do, always think about protecting yourselves. We know they will go about and do it. We don't want them to, but protect themselves.
The National Wellbeing and HIV Commission, under the auspices of the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, spearheaded the Family Fun Day. Those who attended were able to get tested for HIV, enjoy a netball match coordinated by the Barbados Netball Association, play football, or witness a celebrity football match amid other fun activities. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Meanwhile, we're hearing tonight that from the detection of the first case here in 1984 through to the end of December 2024, 4,947 people have been diagnosed with HIV in Barbados. That's outlined in the Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, David Ishmael's World AIDS Day 2025 message. He states of these close to 5,000 people, 64% were male and 36% female. Males also account for the majority of persons diagnosed with advanced disease. That's 67% of AIDS cases in this country. In 2024, there were 105 newly diagnosed cases with a median age of diagnosis of 34.6 years, while the 20 to 29 age group represented the highest proportion of new infections at 37.1%. Minister Ishmael says the ministry remains committed to working alongside the National Wellbeing and HIV Commission and other government agencies, civil society, faith-based organizations, and regional and international partners to move towards a more inclusive and equitable HIV response. This Christmas season will not be merry for one St. George business owner. His establishment in Bridgecourt, St. George, went up in flames on Sunday evening. Our Rachel Agard has more.
Owner of Precision Electrical Sales and Services, Derek Sargent, is counting his losses following a fire which destroyed his two businesses last night. He says nothing was saved from the building, which houses an electrical company and hardware store which carried a number of chemicals. An emotional Mr. Sargent describes the loss as one of the saddest days of his life, especially at this time of the year.
I would like to send a message to my faithful customers. I'm sorry that I won't be able to assist this year in your Christmas shopping, but hopefully we'll be back up and running. We will bounce back.
Mr. Sargent says when he got to the businesses, which employed about 10 workers, the smoke was too thick for him to save anything. He also lost a sizable sum of money in a fireproof safe he says he purchased about 4 years ago.
When I came here this morning saying that at least my money would be safe in the safe destroyed, not a dime safe in a fireproof safe. So I would like people to be aware of the thing to purchase.
Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard says 4 fire tenders and 16 officers responded and worked through the night. And he praises the other entities which assisted in containing the fire.
We contacted immediately EPD to get their intervention. We contacted the Ministry of Health to get their intervention. And we also spoke to the owner, who was really helpful. And he helped us to be able to identify exactly where the chlorine pellets were. Our officers were able to go and collect those pellets and bring them to safety without being involved in the fire. If they were involved in fire, we have a bigger problem, because once the water and the chlorine pellets get together, then you'll have some acid producing, and that would have been problematic for not only for the firefighters but also for the residents in the area.
The operation concluded just before 11 a.m. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Thanks, Rachel. Sad news indeed. Well, coming up, the Barbados Labour Party responds to an attack on one of their MPs. The Barbados Labour Party is unequivocally denouncing an anonymous document being circulated on social media, which it describes as an unwarranted attack on former Minister of Housing Dwight Sutherland. A statement from BLP General Secretary Senator Dr. the Most Honourable Jerome Walcott says while the document is purportedly addressed to the President, the Prime Minister and him, no such correspondence was received by the Prime Minister or by him. Dismissing the content of the letter as absolute rubbish, Dr. Walcott warns that more such documents penned by anonymous people as well as fake news will be circulated in the near future. Some Barbadians celebrated their court victory on the banks of Joes River in St. Joseph over the weekend. Their legal victory allows for the preservation of access to some recreational areas. The gathering was intended to send a strong message of peace and harmony. Spokesman Victor Lewis says their primary desire is to coexist peacefully. Our Trevor Thorpe was at Joes River.
Social activist and environmentalist Victor Lewis expressed satisfaction with the court's decision. He said the community is pleased with the recent court ruling and happy to continue enjoying the area as they have for years at Joes River and Teacup and Saucer. He emphasized that the matter is not about winning, but about fostering peaceful coexistence.
There's no acrimony against the developer. He is our neighbor. We want to embrace him. We want to partner with him. We want to coexist as a people. So from the point of view of looking forward, I'm hoping that the developer would want to party with us with a view of developing the area where we can make this ambience of his premises one that all of us as a people in Barbados and the world at large can come and enjoy.
Those who attended the celebratory event enjoyed the day's proceedings, including the fish soup prepared at the water's edge, with Mr. Lewis indicating that beautification of the area is a priority.
The court would have issued the orders that we ought to have free access. Now, we do have this free access, but we would like to beautify the area some more. So I think that this is an area now that we will seek to negotiate on where we can actually boost the whole ambience of the Joes River Bridge. But we will continue to use it as we would have used it all the time, throughout our lives. And this is not anything regimental in any way, because folks come here night fishing, folks come here during the course of morning exercising, relaxing by the river. So we have this free access 24/7 to come and enjoy all aspects of our educational activities right here at Joes River Bridge.
Mr. Lewis, a co-claimant in the case against Ulls Water Investment Incorporated for passing and repassing rights at the Joes River Bridge, praised the work of the legal team, noting their efforts are preserving and protecting green spaces crucial for healthy living.
I really commend the committee on the resilience that would have been exhibited in terms of retaining this space for us, and I hope that that message, a message from the youth, will not be given silence, but that people would ventilate towards that philosophy that we need green spaces in this country in order to effectively survive.
Mr. Lewis said this initiative is a savior for green spaces, not only for St. Joseph, but for all of Barbados. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Thank you, Trevor. Well, St. Lucians went to the polls today. The contest pits incumbent Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of the St. Lucia Labour Party against former leader Alan Chastanet of the United Workers' Party. Joining us now from St. Lucia is political analyst Peter Wickham. Good evening to you, Peter. Can you tell us what are some of the major issues that took center stage with the election?
I can tell you that and more. The issues here were similar to the issues in St. Vincent and also in certainly in other places where we've had elections. Crime and the cost of living, those are the two major issues that were ultimately on the agenda. But I think that ultimately the regularity of alternation between the two parties is a big political thing. The question is whether or not the Labour Party can return for a second time, because certainly since the turn of the century, no political party in St. Lucia has gained 2 terms. So the question is, will that model be broken on this occasion?
What's your sense of how things will play out based on all that you've shared?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, we already have a clear trend. The data coming into Barbados, which is a marginal constituency, is showing that there's a swing in favor of the Labour Party, which is going to be strengthening. The Labour Party already holds 14 out of, well, they hold 14 out of 17 seats, with the other two being held by independents, and there are two of them that are held by the opposition. Two are held by the independents. The independents are in coalition with the government. So the fact that you're seeing a swing in one of the marginal seats says to me that nationally there's a swing towards the Labour Party, which means that Prime Minister Pierre gets to break that cycle. So he gets to be the first leader to be able to win 2 consecutive elections since the turn of the century, which is ultimately getting him into the record books in St. Lucia. As to whether or not former Prime Minister Alan Chastanet will retain his and the Choiseul seat is left to be seen. The lift to move those 2 seats is pretty big. So the question is whether the swing will be big enough. But at this point in time, we can already see that the swing is not likely to lead to change of government in St. Lucia tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. We certainly look forward to a full review after the results are in. Barbados women lost their opening CONCACAF qualifier to Trinidad and Tobago women 5-0. Playing this evening at Kensington Oval, the Bajan women found it tough against their regional opponents. There will be full highlights in tomorrow's News Night episode. And the West Indies under-19 won by 69 runs over the England under-19s to seal the Youth ODI series 5-2. Playing in St. George's, Grenada, the Young Windies, batting first, posted 213 in 49.2 overs. The opening pair of Tyreek Bryan and Urshano Fontaine led with 36 and 39 respectively. They were backed up by Shamar Apple and Aidan Rocha with 31 each. For the England under-19s, Alex French took 3 for 21. And in reply, England under-19s made 154 in 44.1 overs, led by 52 from Caleb Falconer. For the Young Windies, Aidan Rocha took 4 for 21 and Michael McKenzie 4 for 38. The Barbados Pride cricket team returned home last evening after capturing the 2025 CG United Super 50 Cup title in Trinidad and Tobago. CBC's Anne-Marie Burke reports on their welcome home.
As the doors of the arrivals hall stayed open and the victorious Barbados Pride team stepped into view, a wave of cheers and celebration erupted. A champion's welcome for a squad returning with a title that eluded them for 7 long years. To the lively rhythms of the tuck band and surrounded by family, friends and well-wishers, the players proudly displayed the coveted trophy, proof that months of discipline and sacrifice had paid off. Head coach Vasper Drake said the victory was nothing short of a testament to the unwavering dedication and resilience of his players.
Really happy for the group of players. I think they worked fantastically well during the preparation phase. It started from May, earlier this season. And obviously, leaving Barbados, we recognized that we had to prepare really well because going into Trinidad, certainly with all the weather situation, we're not going to get any sort of practice sessions and stuff like that we wanted to. So yeah, so as a group, the guys really worked really hard, and I'm really happy for the group.
And how fitting it was to return home on Independence Day. A moment Coach Drakes noted was symbolic as the team fully embraced what it means to be true ambassadors for their island.
No, before the guys went on the field yesterday, they recognized playing for Barbados is a privilege and an honor, but it's not a given. Guys recognize that once you have these colors there, they're up for it. I can't say much, really. I think the captain led really from the front. He led exceptionally well, well supported by the whole group. Craig Graphic, sharing his wisdom, Desmond Haynes, and then having the support of the BCA. This trophy means so much, not only to the BCA, but to the people in Barbados. Really happy for everyone. Happy Independence Barbados. You deserve this.
For the Barbados Pride, the journey home was more than a return. It was a celebration of a legacy reclaimed. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Nostradasa, with apprentice jockey Jarrell Beckles on board, captured the Charles Williams Memorial Breeders' Classic in the Barbados Thoroughbred Breeders Association race day at the Garrison Savannah on Saturday.
Racing and Papillon was a little slow to go, but as expected, Nostradamus popped away smartest of all, and she'll come right across in lead, and is already about 5 lengths up on Queen of the South, who's in second. Aries is up early in third. On the inside is Kite. Capricat is caught a bit wide into the stretch the first time. Behind these is Undisputed and Raconteur. Then we find Papillon next. And I Told You So racing together, and Mandarin Oriental is the early trailer. They've got a circuit to go, and the opening quarter 25-3, and it's Nostradasa who's in front by about 8 lengths from Queen of the South. Then there's another 2 adrift before we get to Capricat racing third, then Aries fourth. 3 in the line include Undisputed, Kite and Raconteur. Then I Told You So, Papillon, and Mandarin Oriental has all to pass, and just over a half mile to do so. The opening half, 50-1, and Nostradamus is now about 12 lengths in front of Queen of the South, who's 3 away from Aries, and then on the outside of that is Capricat, then Undisputed, Raconteur. Kite Hard Ridden, I Told You So is next, then Mandarin Oriental and Papillon are the back pair. And Nostradamus has completed 6-1, 15-3. She's heading towards the quarter pole with a 12-length lead. She's about 12 lengths clear now of Capricat and Queen of the South, who are hard ridden, so too is Aries. On the inside, Raconteur is next. And Nostradamus has played catch if catch can, and so far none can do so. She turns for home in front by about 9 lengths on the left-hand drive. Raconteur on the inside staying on, so to is Capricat, but Nostradasa has put this field to bed. She's going to romp home, wins it now by about 7 lengths.
And that's news. Thank you so much for joining us. Do stay with TV8. The Prime Minister's Cup is coming up next.